Good evening, friends. Warm welcome to today's webinar. We will be speaking about the PhD program at IIM Bangalore. In the panel, we have Professor Anant Krishnamurthy, Chairperson of the Doctor of Philosophy program, and he is the professor in the decision science area. He has completed PhD and MS from the University of Wisconsin and an alumni of IIT Bangalore, Bombay. His research interests are designs and analysis of supply chains, warehousing and logistics, biomanufacturing, energy supply and chains, manufacturing systems and competitiveness, and a quick response manufacturing. Welcome you, Professor. We have Mr. Balakrishna, the marketing head here at IIM Bangalore, handles a long duration program. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
We also have Mr. Arun, the senior officer from the admissions. Welcome you, sir. So if you have any queries, please start entering into the Q&A toolbar. We will compile and answer your queries. First, let me invite Mr. Balakrishna to speak about the program.
Thank you, Pramila. Hi, friends. Good evening to all of you. A warm welcome to today's PhD webinar at IIM Bangalore. This is webinar for 2023 admissions. Today we will be sharing information about IIM Bangalore and a detailed information about the PhD program at IIM Bangalore. And then we will share the admission process and selection and the eligibility criteria for this particular program. At the end of it, we will be taking a Q&A. And during our presentation is scheduled for 20 to 25 minutes, followed by Q&A, and overall presentation is for around 60 minutes. So this is the schedule of our webinar for the day. Feel free to ask questions in the Q&A toolbar. We will be answering all your queries after our presentation. Still, if there are any questions which have been unanswered, feel free to contact us. Our contact details also will be shared during my presentation, and we will be responding to all your queries. So with this, I am starting today's webinar for PhD admissions 2023 at IIM Bangalore. IIM Bangalore is around 50 years of is an old institute. We started way back in 1973. We are celebrating the Golden Jubilee this year. And we are an institute of national importance under the IIM Act. We have been internationally recognized, and focus is on education, research, and innovation. The vision of IIMB is to be a global, renowned academic institution, fostering excellence in management, innovation, and entrepreneurship. For whom? It is for the business, government, and the society. So this is the vision of IIM Bangalore. All our activities and all our programs are derived from this vision. The rankings of the institute, we have been ranked both globally as well as in the national rankings. Either we have been ranked number 1 or 2 in the national levels, and at the international levels, we have been well recognized within 50 in many of the areas. For example, the FT ranking, the management masters in management, we have been ranked number 1 in India and number 31 globally. Like this, in most of the areas, the institute is well recognized. Why I am sharing this particular information is this gives you the kind of the confidence that you are in the right institute for your higher education. The degree programs at IIM Bangalore, we have MBA programs of different flavors. One is a 2-year full-time regular MBA program. Then we have a MBA with business analytics. Then MBA of 1-year program with the work experience of minimum 5 years. Then the MBA for working professionals, that is classes are being conducted on Friday and Saturdays. But today's webinar, we are focusing on doctoral program, that is a PhD program, which is around 5 years of program. So more details of this program will be shared by the professor shortly. Just a glimpse about the faculty strength. We are around 100 regular faculties, followed by another 40 plus adjunct faculties. All these faculties are PhD or equivalent in their respective areas. All faculties are having the research activities, publications, papers, articles. So they have been working on their research along with the teaching. So with this now, I invite Professor Ananta Krishnamurthy to share more details about PhD program at IIM Bangalore. Over to you, Professor.
Thank you, Bala, and good evening, everybody. You can all hear me okay? Okay. All right, so nice to have the opportunity to talk to you. I'm going to spend the next few minutes trying to give you an overview of the PhD program. And if you have questions and others, as was mentioned at the beginning, we will answer all questions toward the end, but you can type your questions in chat or hold on, and then we will answer all the questions. So let me try to give you a quick overview of the structure of the program, the intent of the program. Okay, so if you can go to the next slide. So the areas of specialization, we have 10 areas of specialization. They are decision sciences, information systems, economics, entrepreneurship, finance, accounting, marketing, organizational behavior and HR, production and operations management, public policy, and strategy. Quickly, most of these names are self-explanatory, but I will perhaps explain a couple of them. So decision sciences is where the analytics part of the research work at the institute primarily focuses on. Not to suggest that marketing doesn't do analytics or operations management doesn't do analytics. Yes, many of these other areas do analytics, but decision sciences is perhaps where the most amount of research in analytics happens. Information systems looks at IT infrastructure, software issues, and other things. Economics is self-explanatory. Entrepreneurship is a fairly new area of specialization in the PhD program. IIMB has a very strong expertise in entrepreneurship. We have an incubator cell and so on. And so it was a natural progression for us to start looking at research in entrepreneurship to see why some businesses succeed, fail, and so on. And so that's partly what our entrepreneurship PhD program does. Finance and accounting is also self-explanatory. Marketing, OB and HR, production operations management, and strategy. And the other one I will explain a little bit is public policy, which we also have a center for public policy that looks at policy implications of various managerial decisions, and we do a fair amount of research in understanding why some things work and why some things doesn't. Okay, when you apply to the program, you can apply to a maximum of 2 areas as part of your same application. However, you will get a PhD in only one of the areas. So if you are accepted for admission in 2 areas, you will have to pick one area and then pursue your PhD in that area. Okay, so the structure of the PhD program is we have 2 years of coursework and 3 years of thesis-based research. And in the coursework, we have core courses and elective courses. We have about 18 courses that are taken across 2 years or 6 terms. And these are courses that are in your area of specialization. Sometimes these could be methodology or foundational courses from areas across the other specializations too. So for instance, if you are doing a PhD in, let's say, marketing, you may take an economics course to provide you some foundational information. We also have our students do independent study, which allows our students to take an area of interest and increase their knowledge. Perhaps that is an area that they may want to be working on their dissertation. So while you're doing coursework, in addition to the prescribed courses, you can do an independent study to specialize your training in a certain area. We also have a summer research project, which is at the end of the first year, which is aimed at giving you a little bit of exposure on how to take a topic and do some research and to get some feel for how that process works. Okay. So that's our main coursework, and all the coursework culminates at the end of the 2 years with what we call as a comprehensive exam, which has both written and an oral component. The intent of the exam is to see whether you have assimilated all of that knowledge fairly well and whether you are demonstrating potential to successfully pursue doctoral research. Then in the third year and beyond is when the actual dissertation work starts. It starts with the formation of a faculty committee, which we call as a dissertation advisory committee, which will be supporting you during your dissertation work. As part of that, you will be identifying your main thesis advisor or dissertation advisor, and then some other supporting faculty. You will first have an initial idea of what your thesis is likely to be when you form this committee. Then during the course of third year and fourth year, somewhere towards the end of the fourth year, you will put in what is known as a proposal defense, which will demonstrate some progress in your research. So in a sense, it's almost like an intermediary step. You would have done some results, you would have got some findings, you would have made some contributions, and you will have an opportunity to present that in form of a committee, and the committee will comment on whether that is good, correct, right, wrong. And in that process, you will also propose what else you plan to do before you submit your final dissertation. The committee will also provide you feedback on that and essentially scope out the work that remains to be done before you can make your final thesis defense. And so once you do that, you make your final thesis defense and you get your degree. In terms of financial support, our program provides a fairly healthy financial support. We have tuition is completely waived. We have a 5-year full-time program and you don't have to pay any tuition for any of the years. In addition to tuition waiver, you also get a monthly stipend of 35,000, and you also get startup grants of 75,000 initially to buy laptops or other things. And in subsequent years, 2 to 5, you get a contingency grant that could pay for any other incidentals, subscriptions to journals, or going to license to purchase any software that you might need and things like that. And then in addition to all of this, we also have up to 285,000 that is allocated for every student towards conference travel during their 5 years of their doctoral research. So students use this to go to multiple national and international conferences. How you manage that fund to some extent is driven by the student and the dissertation committee. As you make progress, you can pick conferences, and it's not unusual for people to go to several conferences using these grants. In addition, there is also other incentives when you hit milestones on the PhD program at various stages. Hostel accommodation is provided to all our students to the extent that we can. If for some reason we are unable to provide hostel accommodation, we also have some subsidy that we provide that allows you to find accommodation near the IIM Bangalore campus. Where do you go once you finish? So once you finish the doctoral program, our program is intended to train you for academic careers primarily, and in the IIMB system, we are well recognized, and a lot of our faculty students are faculty at the leading IIMs, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow, Indore, Trichy, and so on. We also have several of our alumni from the PhD program taking faculty positions abroad, Melbourne, Norway, France, and so on. Some of our students also pursue postdoctoral fellowships at universities like Harvard, NYU, and so on. Right. With that, I think I will hand it over to the admissions team that will talk about the eligibility and other details related to the 2023 admissions.
Thank you, Professor. Coming to the admissions criteria and the eligibility and how the admission process is being conducted for PhD program for 2023 admissions at IIM Bangalore. First and foremost is the eligibility criteria. We need a master's degree for this program if you are coming from a 10 plus 2 plus 3 kind of a graduation system. So if your graduation is of a 3 years graduation, then we expect you to have a master's degree, which is of a minimum 2 years program. Or if you are having an integrated master's degree after your 12th standard, that is a 5 years of integrated master's, then also you are eligible. This is one set of criteria with a minimum of 55% marks in your graduation. Then the second set is if you are coming from a professional qualifications like CA, ICW, or CS, then also you are eligible to apply with BCom as a graduation, and minimum 50% marks is what we need. We expect you to have in CA, ICWA, and CS. Then the other stream is if your graduation is minimum 4 years, like engineering or architecture or from a medical stream, then also you are eligible to apply. So a graduation of either 4 years of graduation or 8 semesters graduation is you are also eligible. And here the minimum marks is 6.5 or an equivalent CGPA is what we look at in terms of the educational qualification. And students who are in final year of their graduation or a post-graduation are also eligible to apply to this program. And at IIM Bangalore, we being a government organization, we provide reservations as per the government policy for all deserving candidates in terms of SC, ST, and PWD departments. And selection for different areas, we have a selection process which is applicable test. These are the different applicable tests at IIM Bangalore, and this is also available on our website. Please go through and look at the particular test which is applicable for your program. For example, the decision science, either you can come through the GMAT score or a GRE score or a CAT score or a GATE score or a JRF or the IIMB test. I would like to mention here the IIMB test is being conducted at IIM Bangalore on 5th of February 2023. This is going to be an online test. There are application fees. If you are applying for a one area and if you are coming through a non-IIMB test, then it is 1,000 rupees. Or if you are coming through the IIMB test, it is 2,000 rupees. And if it is 2 areas you are applying, it is 1,500 and 2,500 is the application fees. And as I mentioned earlier, IIMB test is on 5th of February 2023. Selection process. Shortlisted candidates will be called for area specific written test or the interviews, and candidates can apply to maximum of 2 areas as earlier itself has been mentioned. And selection process, mainly we look at past academic performance, then your admission test score, then the area specific test and the interview performance and any other specific activities that you have already done. So all those things will be considered in the final selection of the candidate for the program. So with this, we have come to the last slide of my presentation. Here is the contact details. And before that, applications are online applications, and you should apply through online only. And SOP and reference letters are the two important parameters of the application. And if you are selecting more than one area, then that two SOPs are required, and two reference letters are required. Please ensure your referee is giving the reference letters online well before the deadline. Without we receiving the reference letters from your referee, you cannot submit your application form. So the last date to submit application form is on 31st January 2023, 5 p.m. IST. And if you want to contact us, here are the contact details: the admission office, the program office, and the marketing office. You can contact us from Monday to Friday during the working hours from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Between 1 to 2 is the lunch time. You have the contact numbers and also the email IDs. Feel free to contact us, write to us, and we will be responding to you over email. So with this, we have come to the end of today's presentation. Feel free to ask your questions on a Q&A area, and we will be responding to your queries. Now I request Pramila to take over and share the Q&A questions.
Thank you, sir. Now we move to the question and answer session. So let me start with the first question from Ranjit Kumar. Does a master's degree do provide additional advantage while evaluating?
So the masters, each area that you are applying to the PhD program, each area has its own evaluation criteria. Those are listed in our website. Under admissions, you can see area-wise evaluation or admission criteria and process, and in that you will see whether areas are providing additional weightage if you have completed masters or not. Broadly speaking, yes, it does help. That being said, we have also admitted students into PhD program without having done a master's if they have done very well in their undergraduate and so on.
Thank you, Professor. We move to the next question. Sir, my question is related to field of finance and accounts. I want to do research on ESG investigating. What type of challenge a candidate faces while doing this type of research? From Haripreet Singh.
So Harpreet, I will speak in a little broader terms in terms of finance and accounting related research. I think you need some understanding of the financial field and to do the research. That is considered basic, but more importantly, research in finance involves a fair amount of economics and statistics and mathematical techniques. And so that a strong interest and perhaps a willingness to do coursework and use some of those techniques in research is perhaps needed. Computing is also needed these days in any field of research because usually research involves analyzing data, and so being familiar with some computing language and being able to manage their big data is usually a good skill to have for finance and accounting related research.
Thank you, Professor. We have a question from Harshita. Is it possible for a student coming from biological background to complete PhD?
It is, Harshita, it is definitely possible. We have had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, doctors do a PhD from Bangalore in management. But it depends on what type of area you are looking at. In terms of biology background, which particular area, whether it is marketing of biologics or whether it is strategy of pharmaceuticals or whether you're talking about the OBHR, human resource side of managing biological industries. So depending upon where your interests are, yes, your background in biology could actually be an asset. And I don't think in any way that is a limitation. If you are smart and you have a good aptitude for some of these topics, you should definitely apply.
Thank you, Professor. We move to the next question from Pramit. Is there a minimum CGPA criteria during the coursework? If yes, then how much is it is?
Yeah, there is CGPA criteria. Yes, we expect you to perform well in coursework, and the criteria is a little bit involved, and so I won't get into the details here. But because these are issues that come into play after you are admitted into the program, not for the admission. But broadly speaking, the GPA criteria you're looking at is across, in your first 2 years, you will take several courses within your area of specialization and across other areas, so both depth and breadth. So we would expect you to have a certain level of GPA in that overall performance. But our expectation within your area of specialization would be slightly higher. If you are, for example, pursuing a PhD in economics, we would expect that you do really well in your economics courses, which are going to be useful for your research, right? So different areas have different expectations in terms of the GPA, so it's hard to get into specifics, but broadly speaking, there is a breadth requirement and there is a depth requirement in terms of GPA.
Thank you, Professor. We have a question from Barla Nitin. How much fees to be paid annually?
0. Fees are completely taken care of during your PhD program.
We move to the next question. Sir, any tips for preparing SOP and also interview for HR and OB specialization? I have a master's in applied psychology.
I would think if you are able to speak to what your reason for research pursuing a PhD is, do we know what a PhD is, and do you know why you want to pursue a PhD? We would like to know that. And also, if you have certain ideas in mind, and if that aligns with some faculty that are at IMB, don't hesitate to elaborate on some of that during your interview or your SOP process.
Thank you, Professor. We move to the next question by Ranjit. If I submit dissertation work while filling up the form, will it give me leverage?
I am not understanding your question. I don't know how you can submit your PhD dissertation while you are filling up a form for admission to the PhD program. I must be misunderstanding your question. Maybe you can submit a follow-up question that clarifies, and we'll try to get to it.
We move to the next question. Sir, does DS and IS require a specific qualification? Is a pharma postgraduate eligible?
Yes, the area-specific requirements are listed in our website in the admissions process, so you feel free to go through that. And I don't think it says that there are only some specific degrees or fields that are eligible. Yes, your postgraduate pharma is not disqualified if you have, if that aligns with what you plan to do in DS or IS, it definitely is a plus rather than a negative, in my opinion.
We move to the next question from Pratik. If my work experience is in production, can I be considered for strategy domain? And is prior research experience also preferred?
So we are, yes, short answer is work experience in production, can you consider for strategy? Yes. Okay. In general, work experience can drive your research interests in many ways. So, it doesn't look at the negative. If that is influencing your research interests, then that is good. Yes, prior research experience, if you have it, that would be good because it will allow us to judge what you have done in the past and what you could do as part of your dissertation. If you don't have it, but you have other things in your background, that is also okay. So it's not that we don't have, so put it this way, if you look at an incoming batch, they have varying degrees of prior research experience and industry experience.
Thank you, Professor. We move to the next question by Nitya. I have attached my GRE score sheet in the application and filled in the details. Do I need to send the official score through ETS to the institution as well?
See, if you attached your GRE score, that is good enough for us. And we will be verifying your score with ETS once you submit your application.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. Are married women with kids eligible for the program?
Yes, definitely. We have several of our students that are married with family and with children. but we are a full-time PhD program. So when you are in the program, you are enrolled here. And we do have students that have family responsibilities too.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. I'm applying to the entrepreneurship program, but a strategy too has professors who do not research in entrepreneurship area. Is it possible to join one stream and change to another, say joining entrepreneurship and moving to strategy, depending on the match between the research interest of professors, advisors, and mine, or is it advisable to apply to both the programs?
I would say you can apply to both the programs because in this case, yes, there is some overlap between entrepreneurship and strategy. So I would say you're allowed to apply to two programs. You can apply to two programs and see whether both areas accept you or only one does. If only one does, then the decision is automatically made. If both areas admit you, then you have to choose which area to join. That being said, when you form your committee of faculty, then you will have your primary faculty from the area where you are admitted into, but you could have one faculty from an outside area. So if you are admitted to entrepreneurship, your committee could have a faculty from strategy. However, we don't allow people to switch that often from one program to the other. But it's not that restricted. You will have 2 full years to figure that out, and I don't see students having issues in all the years we have done this program. So go ahead and apply to both.
Thank you, Professor. We move to the next question from John. I have completed my master's in public administration and also qualified NET. Am I eligible to apply for PhD in policy sciences?
See, for the policy sciences, as I mentioned earlier, from the academic side of it, one should have a master's degree or a 4 years graduation. In addition to that, the applicable tests are GMAT, GRE, CAT, GATE, and JRF, NET, or the IMB test. If you have any of these valid scores, then you are eligible to apply. And IMB test, after you submit your application, the test will be conducted on 5th of February 2023. IMB test will be an online test. Yes, you are eligible to apply.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question from Dash. Any tips for the research proposal structure and SOP for marketing and economics?
No particular tips. I think try to make the best argument you can about why you want to do a PhD in those areas and how you are well prepared for that process.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. Will research publication in the area boost my application?
Yes, it will, but it's not necessary. We realize that you are applying into a PhD program, not for a faculty position. So we expect that, through your process of PhD, you will maybe have publications. We don't expect people to come prior with publications, but if you have, it will definitely boost your application.
We move to the next question. On PhD on public policy, what areas you will consider the most while selecting?
I don't think there is any particular area that public policy looks at. I think, like was mentioned earlier, our admission process is by and large open to people with various types of academic disciplines and backgrounds. I think we look at it as an overall combination to see whether your preparation, academic preparation prior to application is aligned with what you are planning to do your PhD.
Thank you, Professor. We move to the next question. What is the scope of doing research in economics and business history at IIMB?
I think it's good. It's too broad for me to comment in more specific terms, but we do look at similar types of issues. And our website has some list of dissertations and others that have done, so perhaps that provides you with better information on the type of research that is done in the different areas like economics and others.
Thank you, Professor. We move to the next question. Can a qualified CMA presently working as a manager issue a reference letter?
See, who can write a reference letter? And let me also say who is not eligible to write a reference letter. Any of your blood relatives or a person who is working under you or a peer in your own team, usually we won't recommend these people to write any reference letters. So who can write a reference letter is a person who has evaluated you in the recent past. He'll be the right person to give us a feedback about you. So in that way, if you are working, your manager or manager's manager, or if you are still in education, your faculty member can give a reference letter. So this is how we look at reference letters and also who can write a reference letter.
So we have a question from Ranjit. Is 8+ years of experience is for me or against me?
That's no, I don't know. Depends on what else you've been doing and your entire application package. Short answer, don't worry about it. Like I said, put your best case forward for why you are prepared to do a PhD and what you're applying for. And if your work experience aligns with that, it will be in your favor. If it's not aligned, it will work against you.
Thank you, Professor. We move to the next question. What are the benefits in applying for 2 areas?
You have 2 choices. Ultimately, you have to pick one, but you have 2 choices.
We move to the next question from Haripreet. What should be included in the research proposal? Any specifications?
Nothing specific. You can elaborate on research interests that you have, if you have them, as well as you can define them. It will tell us a little bit more about what you're interested in.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. Is it mandatory to write area of interest in SOP?
Yes, I think we would like to know where you are trying to apply for your PhD program.
We have another question from Soumyajit. Is partial previous academic experience helps? I also have a paper under review in a B journal. Will it help? And what should be the ideal GRE score that IMB looks at in average?
I can take the first few pieces. Yeah, academic experience is looked at it as an overall package. Degrees that you have done, high school, college performance, and other things. Prior research experience, work experience are also looked collectively. And so, yes, go ahead and tell us as much of your background as you can, and that will definitely help us make a better decision about you.
Okay, so with respect to the GRE score or any admission test score, so let me tell you that the admission test score alone is not the decision maker to shortlist candidates for the next step of activities for a PhD admission. So what we look at is we look at the application in totality, like your past academic performance, then your area of interest, and then your admission test score and any significant achievements in terms of academics or in terms of the work area. So these are all the things which goes into your application, and then we decide about then of course the area specific tests, these are also there. So all these things will go into the evaluation of each candidate's application, and then we shortlist candidates for next step of selection process. So in that way, so just an admission test score alone cannot be a decision maker. So in my view, please apply with confidence for this program. In case if you feel that your GRE or a GMAT or a CAT score is not the right representation of what you are, for example, the GMAT, during the mock test, you used to score around 750, 760, and for the final score, you might have ended at 720. Then my suggestion is you have an option of taking IIMB test now. So you can apply with IIMB test and you can try on that side also. So if you already have your CAT, GMAT or a GRE scores, those kind of things, and if you are not happy with that particular score, my suggestion is you apply through IIMB test, and last date to submit your application is on 31st January 2023, 5 p.m. IST.
Thank you, sir. We have a question from Aditi. Can you please give some pointers about how to choose a specialization area? For example, I'm thinking about entrepreneurship or economics and science, social sciences.
So I would suggest that in our website, we have information about each of these areas, what they do, what they are interested in, and also some examples of student work. I think if you go through those, you probably will get a better idea of which area aligns better with your interests. So try that. That might help.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. I am a BCom graduate, and after that, I am doing a 1-year postgraduate diploma in finance services from Jalandhar University. So, is it considered as a master's for PhD program?
No, it cannot be considered for a PhD program. We require minimum 2 years master's degree after your 3 years undergraduate degree to be considered for an MBA for a PhD program at IIM Bangalore.
Thank you, sir. We have another question. I have completed MS by research from IIT Madras by clearing GATE. Please let me know if I am eligible to apply with this GATE score, or is it required to take IMB test?
See the GATE score again. I didn't get for which area you are applying. So the area for which you are applying, if GATE score is applicable, then with a valid GATE score, yes, you can apply.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. If a student fails to attend the IMB test, do they have the chances to attend the interview for admission?
No. See, if IMB test is one of the acceptable test scores for that particular area, and if the student is not appearing for the IMB test, then he will be disqualified or he will be removed from the selection process.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. So, since now IMB is conducting tests, had conducted test twice, and this is the third time, will the institute take the best of the three for admission?
Okay, I request the admissions team, Mr. Arun, to share his information on this. Arun?
Yeah, as mentioned in the admission document, the latest test score will be considered.
Thank you, Arun.
Thank you, sir. So we move to the next question. I have net qualified and not JRF management. Am I eligible for FPM program?
See, if you are a net qualified from the JRF, then for the specific area in which they are considering the JRF NET score, in those areas you are eligible to apply.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. Can you please tell how long the statement of purpose must be?
The statement of purpose, we have a limitation of 600 words in our application itself. So if you write anything more than 600 words, the application software will truncate those extra words. So ensure that your SOP is well within 600 words. That is the word limit that we have.
Thank you, sir. So we have another question. I am currently based in USA. Would love to join this program. Is it a regular program?
It's a regular program. It's a full-time on-campus program.
Thank you, sir. My question is the degree conferred FPM or PhD? And if it is FPM, then how is it different from PhD?
Now, the degree is a PhD. For a few years after the IIM Act has been passed, we have been allowed to call our doctoral degrees as a PhD degree. So the degree that you will get is a PhD degree in management.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. I have done my MBA in 2006. Do I need to write GATE or any other test recommended?
See, again, it all depends on the area of specialization that you're looking for in your PhD program. Based on that, the applicable test score you should have. That is GATE, CAT, or GMAT, or GRE, or IIMB test, or the JRF NET. In case if you don't have any of these tests at this point of time, you can submit your application by indicating you are appearing for IIMB test. So IIMB test is a must in case if you don't have any other test scores. So submit your applications before 31st January by indicating IIMB test is the one you are going to take. And after your submission of application form, you will be getting the hall ticket for downloading to attend the IIMB test. So that's how you can appear for PhD program by taking IIMB test.
We move to the next question from Ravindran. What do you expect in a reference letter for a PhD program?
See, what we look at is what was the kind of your performance either in terms of work or in terms of academics as seen by your manager or manager's manager. So that's what we will be looking at. And during the interview process, we will be seeing that what is your interest on the research and the area of your interest, and on those lines we will be evaluating you.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. I have a question which I'm asking in advance. I have an MPhil degree with GRE score of 292. Please suggest, should I sit for IMB test or should I just apply without test?
As I mentioned earlier, the admission test score alone is not the decision maker. If you feel that your GRE score of 292 is not the best representation of what you are, then I suggest you come through the IIMB test. Or if you feel that 292 is the best score that what you can get, then with confidence you apply to the PhD program with your GRE test. Yeah, back to you.
So we have a question from Ranjit. Does age matter if somebody wants to dedicate to research work in management?
No, it doesn't. We admit students with varied levels of work experience and age levels.
Thank you, sir. Is GATE score valid for 3 years? Is it same for PhD program?
So valid GATE score is what we consider. If the GATE score is valid for 3 years, yes, it is applicable.
We have a question like, can I select my mentor on my own?
So the students do get to choose their mentors. You are not assigned a mentor by the institute, but the mentor selection is happening only after 2 years, and it is a collective process where you get to work with various faculty in the first 2 years to see whose research you like. Faculty get to work with you to see if they are okay supervising your dissertation. And based on agreement of both parties, faculty and student, the mentor selection decision is taken.
Thank you, sir. What is the arrangements for the married couple or a family?
So for married couple and family, we don't have hostel accommodation for married couple, but we do provide HRA subsidies that allow people to take accommodation pretty close to campus. As I had mentioned earlier, we have several married people with children enrolled in our doctoral program, and they are all taking advantage of the resources and the HRA subsidies that we provide to stay pretty close to campus and do well in our PhD program. So don't let that deter you, do apply.
Thank you, Professor. We have another question. Can I select my mentor on my own?
I think I already answered that question.
Okay. We move to the next question. I have a research proposal in finance and accounting area and also other areas such as decision sciences. Are the interdisciplinary paths encouraged?
Management research does have a lot of interdisciplinary flavor, but when you're applying, you have to be admitted to one of these areas because your degree will be in one of these areas. So that decision you have to make.
Thank you, Professor. We'll move to the next question. One of my referees is not able to provide a reference letter. How shall I go about it? Is it the right platform to raise this question?
Sure, let me respond to this. See, we need 2 reference letters. In case if any of your referee is not responding to the reference letters, or if he is not reachable, or if he is out of the country, or if he is in a state that he is not able to respond, then you as an applicant, you have an option of changing the referee. So up to 8 times you can change the referee before the deadline of submitting the application. So if you feel that your referee is not responding, feel free to change the referee and ensure that the new referee submits his reference letters well before the deadline. By receiving both the reference letters, then only you will be able to submit the application form.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question. Our existing PGP graduates from other IIMs are also supposed to go through the first 2 years coursework.
Yes, our doctoral coursework is doctoral coursework, unlike at other IIMs. And so even if you have done PGP at other IIMs, you will need to take the entire set of doctoral courses. Some of our doctoral students have got MBA degrees from other institutes, but the coursework that our PhD students do is different and separate from those MBA courses. So you will need to take those courses.
We move to the next question. Can you please share the syllabus for IMB test? What does IMB test comprises of? Any predefined syllabus?
Okay, see, IMB test will be similar to the CAT examination with multiple choice and negative marking. It will have mainly the quants, verbal, and data interpretation, and those kind of logical reasoning. These are the main sections in the IMB test. So it will be on the similar lines as that of the CAT examination.
Thank you, sir. We move to the next question from Kanika. I'm an engineering graduate with 6+ years of professional experience. I have no prior experience in research domain, but I want to pursue PhD. Do I stand a chance, or what shall I prepare on, or any additional in order to process my application?
You are definitely welcome to apply. I think you should apply and go through the process of deciding which area you want to apply and writing your SOP and providing your test score. So go ahead and apply.
We move to the next question. I wanted to ask if I can apply twice, one with GMAT score and the other one with IMB test. Do you take the best of the two of them?
I request Arun from admission team.
No, only the latest application will be considered for.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So we'll have one final question. I have done my 4 years of engineering with around 62% and a full-time PGDX from IMT Ghaziabad with 7.61 CGPA. Am I eligible?
See, as per the eligibility requirement, if a candidate is coming through the 4 years graduation course, we want a minimum 65% marks or the 6.5 CGPA. So if any candidate less than that, they won't be considered for our selection process.
One final question from Chandra. I have taken CAT 2022. Should I have to take IMB test also?
So again, it is left to the individual student's decision. CAT 2022 score is applicable, is a valid score. In case if student feels that CAT 2022 score what he has got, that percentile is not a representation of what he is and he is much more better than that particular score, then I suggest him to come through the IIMB test. Or if he feels that that is the best score, that what he can get, then with confidence he can apply with the CAT 2022 score for the PhD programs.
Thank you, sir. I think we have covered all the questions.
Okay. Thanks, Pramila. Professor, would you like to share any suggestions or details for these are the prospective candidates who are interested to apply to a PhD program at IIM Bangalore, and many of them are come through the CAT 2022 recently published completed test.
So first, I want to thank all of you for taking time to attend this and also having an interest in the PhD program at IIM Bangalore. I would say that our PhD program is one of the best management programs, if not the best in the country. A lot of our graduates are sought after by management institutes. We are constantly trying to make our program not just good, but really better and excellent. And so what I can promise you is that the training and the support that you get for your doctoral research here will be excellent. And I would strongly encourage all of you to go through our website, learn more about the research that we do, and give your best shot in your application. And I am looking forward to seeing all your applications received.
Thank you, Professor. So, dear applicants, My suggestion is if you are already having and one of the admission test score, and if you feel that you can enhance your score, then there is an opportunity for you to come to the PhD program through the IIMB test. So please fill in your applications and submit it before the deadline, that is 31st January 2023 5 p.m. and opt for the IIMB test. IIMB test will be an online test with a multiple choice similar to the CAT syllabus. So with that also you can try for your PhD program at IIM Bangalore. So with this, we have come to the end of today's webinar. Still, if you have any doubts or clarification to seek, you have contact details on your screen. Please note down those contact details and feel free to contact us or write to us, and we will be responding to your emails. And also one more thing, we provide WhatsApp support for all those candidates who are in our application portal. So once you start filling your application, your contact details will be there in the application portal. And from 15th January onwards, we'll be sharing our WhatsApp number from the institute, and you can also contact us on WhatsApp. And with this, we are concluding today's webinar for PhD 2023 admissions. Wishing you all the very best and looking forward to see at least some of you for PhD program 2023 at IIM Bangalore. Thanks for joining. Thank you. Thanks, Professor. Thanks, Pramila. Thanks, admissions team. And thanks, Darshan.
Thank you.
Thank you.